If you've ever stood in a crowded square and felt the echo of 1,000 footsteps vibrating through your chest, you already understand the quiet secret this photograph is whispering. It is a single frame that speaks more powerfully in stillness than any shout ever could. And right at its center, set in clean white type against soft gray, rests a 4-line truth. The greatest compliment you can ever receive from another person is that you made a positive impact in their life. That line is not fishing for praise, it is asking us to weigh an entire life against something far more intimate than possessions or public trophies. The quiet gravity of the influence we leave behind. An influence that never raises its voice, never chases a spotlight, never demands applause. It simply lingers, the way a shadow remains on the ground long after the sun has moved on. In a world that rewards visibility above nearly everything else, this single compliment gently redirects our attention toward a deeper form of stewardship. How we show up for people when no cameras are rolling, when no one is tallying favors, when the afternoon is ordinary and our own energy is beginning to thin. Look closer at the image itself. A vast public plaza drained to grayscale, human figures reduced to elegant silhouettes. Their shadows stretch long and thoughtful across the stone like unanswered questions. Each person appears small, almost fragile. Each step is a private decision. Yet when you step back, those separate silhouettes and overlapping shadows begin to form a living map of human connection. The distances we choose to cross, the hands we decide to reach, the listening ear we offer to a story that does not belong to us. The photograph quietly insists that genuine impact is never a solitary act. It is a continuum. One small kindness ripples into the next, forming a chain whose every link is forged by ordinary people who simply chose, in that moment, to care, to act, to stay. Because of this, the image subtly reframes what we have been taught to call success. If the most lasting compliment any of us can receive is the knowledge that we made a positive difference in someone else's life, then our most ordinary daily choices suddenly become quiet works of art. Patiently explaining something for the third time, generously forgiving a sharp word, truthfully challenging a comfortable lie, quietly cheering someone on when the rest of the world has gone silent. Not every act will be dramatic. Not every gesture will be noticed. But every single one can be chosen with deliberate intention. The real measure is never likes, never trophies. It is the feeling someone carries away after speaking with you. The knot of anxiety that finally loosens because you listened long enough. The doorway of belonging that swings wider because you chose inclusion over indifference. The small courage that begins to grow because you refuse to look away. The photograph also reminds us that none of us lives in isolation. The crowded plaza proves that we move through spaces where other people's lives are constantly woven into our own. When you lift someone's voice, you enlarge your own humanity. When you help them take one steady step forward, you become part of a future you may never live long enough to see completed. The quote, simple as it is, makes a quiet ethical claim. Real greatness is discovered in gentleness, in the daily practice of consistent care, in the courageous decision to turn our attention outward instead of inward. So here is my invitation to you, right now, in this moment. Be the kind of person whose presence becomes a quiet catalyst in every room you enter. Listen more than you speak, and listen fully. Step in when every instinct tells you it would be easier to walk past. Offer your time without checking the clock, your attention without glancing at your phone, your warmth without calculating what might return to you. Small, steady acts of kindness can reshape an entire life. And when one life is reshaped with care, the world around it shifts with quiet consequence. If these words have sparked even the smallest ember inside you, do not let it fade, let it grow. Let every ordinary day become living proof of the four-line truth centered in this photograph. Because in the end, the greatest compliment you will ever receive is not a compliment at all. It is the lasting imprint you leave on another person's life.